So have you been on the fence about whether or not Vero Beach will be the right move for you to make whenever making that relocation? Well, my name's Andrew Pinch and I'm sitting right here in front of the beautiful Vero Beach Hotel, the Kimpton Hotel, and we're gonna go over why Vero Beach may be the right move for you right after this. So what's going on, guys? My name is Andrew Pinch. I'm a local realtor down here in beautiful Vero Beach in Sebastian, Florida. If you're looking for a channel that goes over everything about what it's like to live, play, eat, sleep, and buy real estate anywhere in the Florida East Coast, then please like this video, tap that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell because I'll be uploading a video every single week about what it's like living here in Vero Beach and Sebastian, Florida. I'm getting calls from people every single day and I absolutely love it. So if you have any questions or concerns before making that move down here, please give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email because I've got your back when making that move to the Florida East Coast. All right, guys, so now it's time to jump into the video about whether or not Vero Beach is going to be the right move for you to make. Is this the right town for you to move to? Or we're going to go over a very broad spectrum of everything that there is to do, restaurants, hotels, things to do, everything in this video. So the first thing that I wanted to do is kind of tackle a myth about the Florida real estate. And I wanted to go back to my market update video that I did last week. And that market update video went over everything as far as what the increased inventory is. Some people are saying that the inventory has doubled since this whole thing has started, since the market started to soften a little bit. And that's just not the truth. The market has not doubled. You'll see here on the graph that it has gone up slightly. The new listings have gone up slightly, but definitely not to the point to where we are seeing a doubling in the market of new houses being put up here. So things are still pretty competitive. The newer homes that have, or older homes that have things done to it to where it's completely remodeled and ready to go, those houses are still getting a lot of attention and being put under contract within a couple of weeks. So that is something to keep in mind. Don't come here with the mindset thinking that it is just Vero Beach and Sebastian is just up for grabs if you have the money to do so. We have a lot of cash flowing into Florida still. People who are selling their homes up north, people who are selling their rental inventories from wherever they're living and 1031 exchanging their cash into the inventory here in Vero Beach and Sebastian. So no, it is not completely up for grabs. It's not the easiest thing to do to buy a house here. So remove that myth completely from your mind and make sure that you still come here knowing that it's a competitive environment and it is not as easy as they said it is to buy a house here in Florida. You still want to move here, which means a lot of other people still want to move here as well. One of the bigger concerns holding a lot of people back and making people skittish about purchasing a property is going to be the rising interest rates. I know that they were just jacked up a little bit more, a little bit further. That is actually can be countered, and there's a few ways that you can counter it. Builders here in the area are actually starting to buy down their rates, or if you use one of their local and preferred vendors, preferred lenders through these builders, they will lock you in at a lower rate. So last conversation I had with a D.R. Horton rep, he was saying that they can lock someone in at a 4.99%. Now, I don't know how long that'll hold up. I don't know if it's still being considered today. That was just the last conversation that I had with this particular rep, that they are locking people in at a 4.99% because they did not release their homes for sale until they are almost complete. So they're about 70-75% complete. So they know when these homes are going to be closing. And especially if you have a home that's going to be closing, that's almost done with construction, maybe just 2-3 months out, that's really whenever you can take advantage of these locks. And these, it doesn't even have to be an extended lock anymore. You can lock in your interest rate and just continue to go from there and be a lot better off than someone who's in the 6.5% range for these resales that you have to shop around these lenders for. Also, another way that these newer builders are starting to incentivize their buyers is by offering some incentives in the form of upgrades. So I have a client, her name is Jill, and Jill actually just put a house under contract with Holiday and Harmony Reserve. So Harmony Reserve is a 55 and older community just north of the Indian River Mall off of 33rd Street. And it is a beautiful place with a lot of amenities, 55 and older. And they have newer construction there on phase 4 where they are offering $25,000 at the moment, and this is what she got, so it's always changing, but $25,000 incentive to go towards upgrades. So she's getting $25,000 of free upgrades with her house. So her home was going to be sitting right around $449,000 and $900. Regardless of if she took these upgrades or not, it would still be sitting at the same dollar amount. So you're not eliminating any costs by doing it, but you can take the $449 and then add on an additional $25,000 of upgrades to this house and still be at the same $449,900. So obviously take advantage of it while you can. That's just one example. Other builders are going in the form of closing costs and, you know, just paying your closing costs if you use their lender. And other builders are just doing regular incentives where it's going towards the bottom dollar amount. So not just on upgrades, but the bottom dollar amount. So talk to your local realtor. Hopefully that's me if you wanted to reach out, but talk to them about which builder's offering what and with what incentives, and they should be able to inform you with the best decision to make for each builder. Now it's time to pivot a little bit and go into the rentals. So now with the doom and gloom mindset of people wanting to move down here and wait for a crash, you know what's happening is right now rentals are starting to skyrocket yet again. So demand for rentals has never been higher, especially with the season coming up here. So demand for rentals has never been higher. There's not a lot of inventory in the market and the prices are still going up. What I'm getting a lot of calls for is, hey Andrew, I want to move to the area. I want to wait and see what the interest rates and what everything does to the market. So I want to rent in the short term, so I'll be able to have the option to buy whenever prices come down. Now, I don't expect that's going to happen. I still think that we still have a very strong market here, even though demand has slowed down to where homes aren't getting $50,000, $100,000 over asking. They still are selling at right around asking. It might not be the first day, but you know, maybe a week or so on the market, they're still selling for about full price, especially if it's in a nice area with good upgrades. These houses are still moving relatively quickly. So that's why I wanted to say, since most people are looking for the criteria of move-in ready, turnkey, nice neighborhood, ready to go with plenty of square footage, that don't expect that that house is going to come up in the market and you're going to have all the time in the world to think about it and maybe even lowball them if it's priced competitively. If it's priced right and the comps match what this house should be selling for, you are most likely not going to be getting much of a discount on this house. It's just reality of the market. I can't make magic happen, but you know, I'll do my best to work with you if you do give me a call. One other thing that I did want to say about Vero Beach is that we have not one, but we have 2 bridges that lead you over to the actual island itself. So Vero Beach is very well known for its island. We have the $1 Million Island, the Hutchinson Island a little bit further south from us. So that is where you find a lot of multi-million-dollar properties. That's where I am now at this luxurious resort. And life is very good over here when you cross over. So if you wanted something that's easily accessible, Vero Beach has a great option because you have those 2 bridges to choose from. Now, our friends over on the West Coast, people in Cape Coral, Fort Myers, that area, they mostly have bridges that you have to pay for. You have to pay a toll to go over these bridges, and these beaches are overcrowded with way too much overpopulation going on. People can't find parking, you have to pay for parking. If you're a boater, you have to pay for dropping the boat down and using the lift. Luckily here in Vero Beach, we haven't seen any of that. It's still free to go to and from the beach, to go over the bridge. That is 100% free to do. Another thing is beach parking. As long as you park on Ocean Drive, you have a 2-hour limit. You'll get a $20 ticket if you are clocked in at being parked in the same spot for more than 2 hours. So that is something to consider. Set your timer on your phone for you to move your truck or your car every 2 hours or so if you plan on spending more than that here on the beach. But most likely you're going to be 3-4 hours, you're going to be done with it anyway. So you only got to move that car once. And there's plenty of parking. There is, right now I'm obviously in front of the hotel. The entire row in front of me was completely open, and the parking spot 3 or 4 behind me and 3 or 4 in front of me were all completely open. This is summer in Vero Beach, and I know if I were to go over to the West Coast, the Sarasota area, the Venice area, Fort Myers, Cape Coral, that it would be packed but it would be packed and completely impossible to find a parking space on the beach here. So that's something to know. There's no tolls to go over the bridges, and that parking is abundant still here in Vero Beach, at least right now during the summertime. So everyone's talking about growth. Everyone's talking about what will Vero Beach look like here in the next 20, 30 years or so. What do we have to expect? Is it going to turn into a West Palm Beach? Is it going to turn into a Fort Lauderdale? I'm going to say absolutely not. Our county commissioners do a fantastic job of regulating the growth here in Indian River County. We stick to our guns when it comes to our voting here, and we try to keep it as unlike Fort Lauderdale or West Palm Beach or Tampa or whatever else, you know, just insert the blank of a big city here, a metropolitan area in Florida. We do the absolute best we can to keep it from growing into that. Our growth is very tasteful, I would say. So, you know, just a couple, sprinkle in a little development here and there, but don't overpopulate the area. Keep a lot of conservation together, which is what we do. We have a lot of conservational areas, a lot of national parks, you know, things like that, all sprinkled around the area to kind of buffer out the growth that we're seeing. And we're also trying to stay ahead of the infrastructure too, of the little growth that we're seeing in this county. So the infrastructure right now, we're widening State Road 60, we're widening 66th Avenue, and there's a lot of other places too where we're seeing a lot of road work being done to allow for the growth that the county's seeing without ever having to interfere with our daily lives going through traffic. We're not going to grow too fast and then fix the infrastructure. They're getting ahead of it right now. I did just want to read a couple excerpts here, just word for word quoted, that came from an article that said, what will Indian River County be like in 2044? So here is just a couple of the quotes that they said in the article that I thought were important. So in the 1950s and 60s, a group of citizens met to design the requirements for a city and county that would attract citizens, such as height restrictions and densities, to encourage new residents to choose to live here. Each generation bears the responsibility of leading the continuation of the elements that makes us a very special city and county. So what this quote is saying is that we wanted this county to be desirable for a reason that is not going to expand to a Miami, Fort Lauderdale, or West Palm. And they have stuck pretty strict on those standards since then. We have height restrictions on the building, height restrictions on the hotel. If you go over the bridge, you will see one building that is maybe about 12, 14, 20 stories high. That was built on a loophole back in the 80s, and I highly doubt it'll ever happen again where we're having these high-rise condos being built within the county standards. So here's another quote that I wanted to share with you as well. Future growth will have to be in the western area of the county, said Joe Wild, who made predictions in 1994 and retired as Indian River County judge earlier this year. The coastal areas are built out and the essential character of those areas will remain. So areas like the island itself, areas like, you know, like Royal Park, McCanch Park, Central Vero, those have seen its days of growth and it's not going to get any worse. Yes, old shops will move out and new shops will move into its place. Yes, vacant lots will be built on one day if it's zoned for residential or if it's zoned for commercial. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But those are still some growth things that we can see, but we're really at the cap of what Vero Beach is going to see as a town. So he predicted it would be built out west. What we're more so seeing is that it's going further north. So it's heading itself more towards Sebastian versus going further out west. Because further out west, we still have a lot of farmland, people who are living on 5-10 acres, and they are not willing to part with their you know, with their land at this time. I imagine that's probably going to stay the way it is, to where if you want to have the ability to live on 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 acres, that you're going to be west of 66th Avenue in that case. So really, just to summarize everything I'm saying, growth will happen in Indian River County, in Vero Beach, but it will be steady, not crazy. So now I'm talking to you beachgoers and beaches to check out when visiting Vero Beach, and also some activities to do in there as well. So we have a lot of surfing, skimboarding. If you haven't heard of skimboarding, that's where you see them sitting up in the sand with their board, maybe about chest height, and they throw it down into the water itself after a wave breaks, throw the board down, and then surf their way up into a wave and then ride that back. That is skimboarding. We have a lot of that. The break is fantastic for it here in Vero Beach. So surfing mostly is found up in the Sebastian Inlet. That's where the popular spots are there. And also, we have a lot of people going up and down the beach with metal detectors. Now, what are they looking for? Well, I wanted to go down to my neck here and show you this. So this right here is a silver Atosha coin. Atosha did not sink on the Treasure Coast, but we did have an entire fleet of ships, 12 to 14 ships, that all crashed up and down the Treasure Coast, which makes up Vero Beach, Sebastian, and maybe some of Fort Pierce as well. So there are ships that crash all up and down between Fort Pierce and the Sebastian area, where you can find these coins in the sand after a storm. So if you see someone with a metal detector, this is most likely what they're looking for. And I know a lot of people like to go shark teeth hunting over on the West Coast, but over here in the East Coast, on the Treasure Coast, we like to go treasure hunting. So very cool opportunity for you to do if that's something you're interested in. Now to talk about other things on the beach, we also have the Humison Park Beach. Very good beach to check out. They've got the public restrooms there, wash downs for you to wash off the sand and make sure you get all the sand off you whenever you're done visiting the beach. And also a park there too. So if you have the kiddos with you, you've got a playground park that you can visit, which is very nice as well, something to check out. We've also got the Sexton Plaza. So the Sexton Plaza is going to consist of Mulligan's, Ocean Grill. So Mulligan's is going to be on the left side when pulling in. Ocean Grill is going to be on the right. Now there is a beach there, a public beach where you can walk down the boardwalk and get there. And that is a little bit of a less crowded beach, I would say. So Humison Park is where you're going to get the playground. Sexton Plaza is where you're going to have your restaurants and shops and be very central. But also please be careful because this is the area with the 2-hour limit, so I just wanted to reiterate that. And another beach too is going to be the tracking station. So the tracking station is going to be just north of the 7-Eleven off of A1A. And it's a really nice beach there as well. So there's some construction going on, but when you pull in, a little bit hard to find, a little hidden, but a nice beach nonetheless, a little bit less crowded and more spread out. So the tracking station beach is going to be right there between 7-Eleven and CVS off of US or off of A1A. So now I wanted to talk to you boaters. So any boaters out there that, you know, if you move to Indian River County, most likely what you're going to do is you're going to live here for a few months or so and just say, wow, it seems like most of the things to do here are on the water. I need to get myself a boat. Well, luckily for you, there's a lot of boat storage places, a lot of outdoor places where you can park your boat on the trailer, cover it up, keep it away from the elements, and they would charge you roughly between $70 to $150 a month for that, depending on the size of your vessel. So that's somewhere where you have outdoor storage, completely gated, you get the key to the area, and you can back it in and pull it out whenever you want at your convenience. There's also places where you can buy a house and keep it on the side of the house as well. So you can have a parking pad on the side of your house, make it real convenient to where you just back the boat up, you know, go up your driveway, back it up on the parking pad itself, and just make it real convenient for you to wash it up, load it up, put some ice in there, load it up with beer, whatever it is you want to do. And when you're done, you could pull it up to the side of the house, hook it up to a hose spigot, wash down your boat, flush out your motor, and you're done. So that's a very convenient way to do it, but you still have to tow it to and from the nearest boat ramp, which there are plenty, and I'll put it up on the screen here. There are a ton within Vero Beach and Sebastian, the Indian River County area. And then other options you have too, this is more so for the bigger vessels, I would say, is if you live on the river itself, you can of course have your own boat lift or your own dock. That's a good touch, definitely very convenient, the most convenient way to do it. Or you could link up with one of the local marinas here up in Sebastian, Vero Beach, or down at Fort Pierce, to where you just give them a call. It's in dry storage. They forklift the boat out from you, out for you, put it in the water, fuel it up. You have nothing to worry about. All you do is just enjoy your boat. You could also take advantage of the Freedom Boat Club. Freedom Boat Club is just where you pay a monthly membership and you can pick from their entire variety of vessels to choose. So one day you want to be out on a cruiser, next week you want to take out the family and go on a fishing trip. There's going to be two totally different boats for you to choose from, and the Freedom Boat Club gives you the freedom and the options to do that. Another thing you may be wondering about is public transportation. So public transportation here is pretty limited. We have the Go Line bus. So the Go Line bus is going to be, you know, you'll see the signs all up and down the streets. So they follow a specific route. You can go online and check out the routes for those. We also have the Club Car. Club Car used to be these big Kias that would drive around with a $10 fee. So $10 ride anywhere around town. That would be the fee in order to ride with the Club Car. They are still around, they still are operable, but you just gotta go Uber. I mean, Uber's just the easiest way. You got it on the app, it'll ping you to your location. You don't have to worry about, you know, coordinating with the drivers where you are, if they're available, this and that and the other. So we have Uber, and that's what I would recommend doing. Another big issue or thing that I have to explain to customers when moving down to Vero Beach is the safety. So is the safety good in Vero Beach? Is the crime rate good? Are the statistics good? Are we going to be safe when moving to Vero Beach? Well, I will tell you right off the bat, Vero Beach as a town is 32% below the national average as far as the crime rating. So crime percentage is 32% below. Now the violent crime as far as being safe goes is 51% below the national average as far as crime statistics go in the entire country. So 51% below the national average. And then property crime, so property crime is things like car hopping. They used to call it car hopping whenever you would, you know, have someone drop them off and go around the neighborhood trying to open up these cars or these vehicles. This definitely is not as prevalent as it used to be in the past because security measures has gone higher. A lot of people have cameras in front of their house or, you know, Ring doorbells, things like that. But property crime is 28% below the national average inside Vero Beach as well. So that's crime statistics. Very, very good statistics as far as Vero Beach goes, and I'm very happy to present those numbers to you. Now it's time to talk about the shopping. So the shopping that we have here, we do have a Sam's Club, but unfortunately we do not have a Costco. So a Costco is a big thing. A lot of people call me saying, do you have a Costco, or, you know, do you have anything that resembles it? Yes, we do. We do have a bulk shop, you know, Sam's Club, we have that. We have a super Walmart, which I honestly can't stand going to it. The Walmart that I like going to is the neighborhood Walmart, and their steaks, by the way, are out of this world. My wife and I have their Walmart, or neighborhood Walmart steaks at least once a week. They're fantastic, especially cooked on the pellet grill that we have. We've got a Traeger at home, a little bit spoiled there, but definitely for steaks, I'd recommend neighborhood Walmart, believe it or not. We've also got Publixes, at least 5, maybe 7 Publixes spread out throughout the town of Vero Beach. So you are always going to be close to a Publix, regardless of which address that you have here in Vero Beach. We do have a mall as well, although the mall is kind of dying. It's mostly a church now, and there's a couple other smaller places that you can check out. More so just a place for you to get your step ups. So I wear a Fitbit, and it counts my steps. Sometimes I used to do my phone, but I just never had my phone in my pocket for the entire day to count my steps. So I just bought a Fitbit, and sometimes I'll just go to the mall and I'll walk around. It's just me and the old ladies doing it, but it is a good way for you to get your steps up in the air conditioning nonetheless. But most of the time you'll probably just catch me here at the beach doing that. So it is a good way if you want to be in the air conditioning to do that. And you'll see some of the shops there. Check it out and see if there's anything worth going into, but most of it is dying, dead, and but the mall is still open for your convenience if that is something you wanted to go to. Some other things that I did want to mention is vacationing. So vacationing from Vero Beach, if your starting point is going to be Vero Beach, where are you going to vacation? So some little research things that I've done, things that I've done in the past, is a ferry to the Bahamas. Fort Lauderdale is about a 2-hour drive south. You can go there and actually take a day trip to the Bahamas by riding a ferry to either Bimini, or I believe it's Grand Harbor or Grand something, but you could take a ferry over there. Pretty cool, spend the day in the Bahamas, have a great time. That's gonna cost you around $200 to $300 per person to do that. Not that bad in my opinion to have a trip over to the Bahamas, because coming from the Northeast trying to do a trip like that, definitely gonna be a little bit more costly than that. You are a lot closer here being in Florida. Also Mexico. My wife and I love going to Tulum. We did our honeymoon over in Tulum. It was a fantastic honeymoon, love it. So you can have a flight over to Cancun, which is the closest airport to Tulum, and do that. Yes, it's gonna be Frontier or Spirit, but the cost for the tickets, you can spend an entire week there for about 200 bucks. And that's the round trip, by the way. And then also just get your, you know, every Airbnbs are gonna be different, but around $75 a night to start off, all the way up until who knows what, if you want to get to the more luxurious places. But vacationing can be done relatively cheaply or very cheap, because we're here in Florida near all the other tropical islands and that part of Mexico that you would want to venture off to as well. Now, if you wanted to stay in town in Vero Beach, we have a lot of hiking, a lot of places for you to go fishing as well. So don't count Vero Beach out. If you know, if you're just moving here and you haven't fully experienced it yet, you can go and visit all the resorts as well. I'm not staying here, but I am, you know, I did purchase some food here and they allow me to stay and hang out. Not enjoy the pool, you can't go in the pool, but you can still enjoy the scenery while you're here and explore any other restaurants you want as well. And for you theme park people, you Disney resort people, Universal Studios, SeaWorld, all of that is just a small hour-and-a-half drive away. My wife was thinking about getting annual passes for one of the parks, I'm not sure which one, but just to be an hour-and-a-half away from, you know, drive to these parks really makes it easy to have a day trip to where you don't have to book a hotel for the night, plan out an entire day. You could just, it's Saturday, Sunday, take a drive on up, use your annual pass, go in, enjoy the day, and just go from there. So being a Florida resident, they will give you a little bit of a discount on those annual passes, and you'll be able to take advantage of that being a Vero Beach resident as well. Now, for you skaters out there, you have to drive a little bit further north to get there. So up in Sebastian, there is a skate park. So anyone who wants to, you know, ride on those four-wheelers, get a skate park, you know, hang out at a skate park, you can do that. Or if you have kids that are into it, that's cool. I'm not sure if it's a BMX park as well, you know, where you can have a bike and do your tricks there, but I imagine so. I don't think they would prohibit it from happening, but I haven't spent enough time there. I haven't been there as much. I'm at the age to where going down on a half pipe just does not seem ideal, especially if I have to stay healthy, ready to move around and show properties. I've got to use my legs to do that. So guys, I hope that video wasn't too long. I hope it didn't bore you throughout the video. I wanted to cover as much as I could about would Vero Beach be the right place for you to move. Again, if you have any questions or concerns before making that move down here to Vero Beach or Sebastian, please give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, because I promise I will have your back when making that move to the Florida East Coast. You guys have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.